Hello everyone, I'm Vivian. Today our group is going to talk about animal camouflage. Basically, we have divided our presentation into four parts. First, I will have a brief introduction, and then me and Sherry are going to talk about different types of camouflage, and then Coco is going to talk about the causes of camouflage, and at last, Lydia is going to explain the evolution of camouflage. So basically, we think this topic is important because camouflage increases the species' chance of survival, and this topic plays an important role in animals' ecology and evolution. And the questions below are the question that we had when we first see this topic, and we're going to explain all of them in our following presentation. So first, I'm going to have a brief introduction of camouflage. So camouflage is a widespread defense mechanism or tactic that organisms use to disguise their appearance, usually to blend in with their surroundings. Animals often use camouflage to mask their locations, identity, and movement. And then me and Sherry are going to explain different types of camouflage. So basically, there are 5 different types of camouflage, which are masquerade, background matching, disruptive coloration, aposematism, and cross-dressing.
The first type is called masquerade. This is how animals resemble the inedible objects that can be commonly found in a local environment, so that the predators may misclassify them as the items they resemble. The pictures above show how larvae masquerade as twigs of trees and bird dropping, while a ghost mantis resembles a dead leaf. Another type of camouflage is called background matching, which is to resemble the color and pattern of the environment. This technique is usually habitat dependent, which the crabs from mudflats are hard to be distinguished from its habitat, and some flatfish use this technique on a sandy floor to protect themselves from being discovered. Next, disruptive coloration is a technique usually adopted when background matching doesn't work. By extending the continuity between the background and the animal's markings, it prevents the predator from detecting the real object boundary. Animals usually create false edges and boundaries to trick predators and delay their predation. For example, jackknife fish have dark lines that run through their eyes. These lines may serve to hide the eyes so that the predators cannot tell where the fish is looking.
The first 3 types of camouflage that Sherry mentioned above helps prey to hide from their predators and increase the prey's chance of survival.
So the fourth one is aposematic coloration. Potential prey display bright colors, often red, orange, or yellow, forming a strong contrast against the background to warn the predators of its toxic or dangerous nature. An example is monarch butterfly, which has a distinctive orange and black pattern to warn the predators of the toxins stored in its body.
The fourth type of camouflage is quite different than the first 3. You guys may wonder why those species choose to be conspicuous instead of hiding themselves. The answer is warning signals are learned from the predators to avoid hunting species with toxins. Thus, the prey use this technique to enhance their survival as a self-defense mechanism.
The last one is cross-dressing. It is a technique which is used by the smaller male cuttlefish to pretend as female cuttlefish. As they look alike female cuttlefish with their smaller size, they are less likely to be attacked by the fish of their same gender and get about 40% higher chance of being accepted by females for mating.
Therefore, this technique of camouflage improves smaller cuttlefish change of fertilization success.
And I'm Coco. I'm gonna talk about the causes of camouflage. So, animal species are able to camouflage themselves through two primary mechanisms, which are the pigments and physical structures. Some species have natural microscopic pigments known as biochromes, which absorb certain wavelengths of light and reflect others. Species with biochromes actually appear to change colors. Other species have microscopic physical structures that act like prisms, reflecting and scattering light to produce a color that is different from their skin. So the picture below shows the biochromes in the skin of a cephalopod, how they act on the cephalopod. The change of the camouflage. Species will change camouflage in order to communicate and in response to the threat. Skin coloration can change by changing animal's diet, and the camouflage can change with the environment. Many animals, such as the Arctic fox, change their camouflage with the seasons, and other species, such as pepper moths, change their camouflage because of the industrial pollution. The picture below shows the different fur color of the Arctic fox between summer and winter, and the second picture shows how the pepper moth's camouflage changed from unpolluted trees to polluted trees. And some forms of camouflage are not based on the coloration. Species will attach or attract natural materials to their bodies in order to hide from prey and predators. Olfactory camouflage is a camouflage that animals hiding from prey by covering up their smell or masking themselves in another species' smell.
This is Lydia Sun, and I'm going to talk about the evolution of camouflage. By talking about the evolution of camouflage, I'm going to first introduce a few examples that for, of animals that can camouflage a long time ago. Next, I'm going to briefly explain the relationship between camouflage and evolution. So actually, camouflage exists a long time ago. And the first example I want to show you guys is about dinosaurs. One paper named 3D camouflage in an ornithischian dinosaur, it reports that preserved pigments in the dinosaur Psittacosaurus suggest counter-shading camouflage. So what is counter-shading? Counter-shading is a dark dorsum and light ventrum counteract the gradient created by illumination from above, obliterating cues to the three-dimensional shape. From the middle image on the right, we can see a clear difference in the pigmentation between the ventral surface on the lower belly and tail relative to the dorsum, which is more heavily pigmented. The transition in the dorsal-ventral pigmentation is well documented along the belly and the tail. The chest is relatively more pigmented than the lower abdomen. Next example I want to show you guys is about insects. From one paper named Early Evolution and the Ecology of Camouflage, it reveals one behavior for some insects known as trash carrying. It enables insects to nest their trash among stratigerous cuticular processes. This discovery they found is about a green lichen lava in early Cretaceous amber from Spain. They have the ability of trash carrying, and this trash packet they have successfully camouflages the lava, and it can render them nearly undetectable to predators and prey, as well as forming a defensive shield. The top image is the reconstruction of it, and there are some other real insects fossil preserved in amber have revealed the camouflage techniques of carrying debris over 100 million years ago. The image at the bottom are those real insects. They have developed a remarkable method of evading predators and falling prey. and some other crabs, spiders, snails also have this masterful ability. Lastly, I am going to talk about the relationship between evolution and camouflage. Evolution can make living things to fit in the environment. So in order for some species to better fit into the environment, they have to evolve some abilities to better protect themselves as well as to better attack its prey. Camouflage become one of these abilities that animals have. Through the years, camouflage evolved through the natural selection. From the textbook, natural selections occurs when individuals with certain heritable traits produce more surviving offsprings than individuals without these traits. Since camouflage can prevent themselves from danger, which leads to a greater number of surviving offspring, it can prove that camouflage actually can be a key example of natural selection.
So here's our citations. And this is our roles in this presentation. And that's all. Thanks for watching.